Hi Jacob, how are you today?
I'm very good, thank you.
Good. Would you like to take this opportunity to tell us a bit about yourself?
Yep, so I've been working in Agile for a good number of years now. Got started out in web development and found that people ask me for things that they didn't actually need, so dug a little bit deeper and I realised that I should interact with people more regularly rather than just taking their needs for granted. And from there I ended up moving over to China, lived over there for a few years helping some organisations. Moved back to New Zealand a couple of years ago where I joined an organisation called Assurity, where I now head up the Agile service and work with organisations all around New Zealand, help them improve basically, deliver the right stuff at the right time.
Nice. And how do you feel Te Papa caters for the conference in Wellington?
It's a pretty cool venue, it's just such a nice open bright space, and there's always a lot of things going on. People feel quite invigorated. I think looking around the museum, it's always a place that gives you a little bit of energy. The views over the harbour are obviously quite spectacular if the Wellington weather plays ball, which it does occasionally. I think the speakers have complimented it quite a lot. They've found it quite conducive to their talks, so that's a real good feedback as well.
And how do you feel that the conference has evolved over the last few years?
Yeah, well, it's an interesting question. Every year we sit down and we start organising it and we try and think about, okay, what are we going to do a little bit different this year? What can we improve? What did we learn from the last few times? And what we've tried to do over the past couple of years is actually sit down with every speaker that applies to the conference to understand a little bit more about them, a little more about their style, to make sure that they're fitting into the right places, that they've got the content that will match expectations. So I think that's one big difference, is that the quality of the presentations has really started to increase. There's a lot more New Zealand speakers with really cool stories now as well, whereas we used to get a lot of people coming from overseas, especially keynotes. We're getting a lot more locals that are sharing their stories now as well, as more New Zealand organisations have been embracing Agile. And the other neat thing to see, especially in Wellington, is a lot more government attendees and really interested in applying government Agile in government, which means that hopefully as taxpayers we can get better value for money as well, and that they spend more time focusing on problems that really matter.
The vibe about the place has just been great both days. Is there anything specific that you've noticed people talking about more than
ice cream?
Yeah,
ice cream's really popular. Having a couple of coffee carts in Wellington, that was always going to be a success as well. But I think it's just the interesting mix of keynotes. There's not anyone that you could pigeonhole to say that person only talked about X. So I find having that variety is really good, and the same with all of the track speakers as well. There's just been such a good variety. Nobody's come to me and said, I just don't know, I can't go to anything, there's nothing interesting. They've all said, there's too many interesting things to go to, which one should I pick now?
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll look forward to seeing you back here next year.
Yeah, or in Auckland next year maybe, but yeah, we'll definitely be back again.